Tuesday afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. This is your Viewpoint. Welcome. I am Rotimi Akintunde. This program is sponsored by Integrated Communication Services and, of course, designed to encourage moral values in our society and, of course, provide possible solutions to societal challenges. Today we're talking about influence of role models on children. Of course, you agree with me that children learn a lot from parents, guardians, people who take care of them. And of course, a role model is someone that is looked up to and an example that can be imitated. So we're looking at how parents, teachers, individuals, people who are in charge of children, whatever it is that they do, how they get to influence children, whether positively or negatively. I won't be doing the talking. I have educators in the house to do this with me. I have the director, Champion Hills International School, Lagos. That's May Josiah. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for coming.
All right. I also have the chief admin, Aegis Home School, here in Lagos, Josephine Obey Kwasi.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. Now, of course, you may have heard a lot of things report about children, what we have in our society. At the time, we heard stories about children that are putting on skimpy clothes, and some people are not even bothered about that. At some point, people who are educators like you also directing schools, get to organize parties, and you see young children dancing, giving some funny dance steps and all of that. Well, some people don't bother about that, but the point of discussion today is to see how people who are supposed to be role models influence children. How do they influence them? Is it positively? What effect will it be? Will it have on them? So the first question I want to throw to Madam Kwasi is, what is your take about role models in our society today, and how do they influence children?
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Akintunde. Role modeling, in simple terms, is influence. That's what it is. Now, how they influence the child, it depends on who is the role model of the child. In our society today, if we're looking at positive role models, it should be that, a person who can, have influenced children positively, making them undergo towards positive mental, moral values. Confidence, boosting their confidence, showcasing who they are, their godliness and all that, character-wise. However, I would say, I belong to the school of thought that believes that charity begins at home. Parents are the first models of children. There are three categories of people that influence a person's life: the parents, the learning environment, and the general community as a whole. We know in Africa we have an adage that says that it takes a parent to bring a child to the world. However, it takes a community to groom that child. Now, if the home is dysfunctional, for instance, what is that child coming up with? Now, this child will go to the school with that dysfunctionality. But if the home is functional, then the child goes with a functional character to school. And if the school is functional, the child comes to the society with a functional character.
Okay, let me take it from there and go to May. What's your take? She has talked about functional, dysfunctional homes, and of course, now you are a school director.
Yes.
How do you identify schools that are functional? Now, it looks like parents do not. You are also a parent.
Yes.
Now, so let's start from the parent. How do you identify parents or homes that are not functional, and what effect does it have on children?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. I've been in the educational sector for a while now, and seeing the children, I think it starts from the home. When a child comes to school in the morning, from the look of that child, you'll be able to know whether the parents are involved or not.
Yes.
As soon as whether the child is coming with the school bus or the child is being dropped by the parent, you see the look, the dressing of the child is not complete. Some of them, they just come with uniforms that are not complete. It starts from there. Some of them, they come with lunch, they don't have spoon. It starts from there. Some they come with snacks, they don't have water.
And that takes
we
us to
see a
busy
lot.
parents.
Yes.
So let's quickly talk about that, busy parents. Because if parents are not busy, they might be able to do the necessary things. So let's talk about busy parents.
Busy parents, all of us are busy.
Yes.
The parent cannot sit at home 100% because of the children. We know the economy we are operating. So for parents, you must try as much as possible to make out that time for the children. Everything, you have to schedule your program in such a way that you bring out the time for the children. So don't just leave them to themselves. You see children coming to school without homework undone. Monday through Friday, their assignment is not done, and this same parent comes pushing everything back to the school.
And they feel they are paying.
They
What should
have
happen?
paid, but they have their responsibility because they are the
Okay.
number one role model to that child. They take care of the child up to 3. The child knows them first before they even brought that child to school. So I think parent has 80 to 90% role to play in the children's life before turning back to the school. So if you are busy, I think you should try as much as possible as a parent to schedule your time and make out time for these children, because even when you are working, you are making millions. At the end of the day, if these children don't turn out well, everything you have made is zero. So character matters so much in this modern day life. For me, character is everything. So for us to make these children to stand out at the end of the day, we busy parents, we need to make out time for the children.
All right.
It's non-negotiable.
Okay, that's great. You see some parents, like what you said, you were talking about, it's true that we are all busy and all of that, and considering the economy, you want to combine like 2-3 jobs, 2-3 things, you go to work and you still sell something by the side, and you don't have time for the children. What can they do?
No, there must be time for the children. I disagree.
Now, let me quickly, we have some parents, some
Yes.
people are living on the mainland and they work on the island. They wake up 4 a.m., in fact, 3 a.m. In fact, I know a pregnant woman that would wake up 3:30 a.m. and stand at the bus stop, with a big belly, and come back home 11:30, 12. And the husband is doing the same. How would they do that? What options are there for them?
For me, I think everything in life, it's you need to prioritize. You need to prioritize, because if both the dad and the mom are busy, you are leaving that child to the mercy of housekeepers, to the mercy of carers. You understand? So first and foremost, the parents need to come to prioritize what they do. It's either you move your family close to your work, or if you have the time before you put your child in the school, find out the culture of the school. If the school, finding out the culture of the school is very easy. When you speak to the proprietor or the administrators of the school, you know their values. You feel the passion. You feel what they have to offer. Now that alone helps.
Okay, another thing that we must consider when you're looking to get your child into a particular school, you want to look at the cost. All of these things you've mentioned is about money. So what should be done? You are a parent, you're also a school director. What can be done? And you know what it is when we talk about school fees and all of that. In fact, some people even believe that. The other time you were talking about, okay, you leave them into the hands of carers and all of that. Their belief system is that you leave them in the hands of teachers. And that is why they pay so much. So if they don't have time, possibly the school will have time and train them. Is that true?
For the school will try their best to do whatever they need to do to make that child turn out well. But I still stand that parents still have more role to play. For some of our busy parents that have caregivers at home, there are ways you can also monitor the caregivers. You don't just leave everything to the caregivers.
Okay.
Some parents leave home very early and they are back, say 9-10. So how do you monitor these children? So what I would suggest for parents that have a very tight schedule is to actually follow up. You can be anywhere and follow up what is going on at home. For me, I have alarm for everything. I know my children get home 4. By 4:30, I should be able to call somebody supporting me. Is their lunch bag ready? Is their assignment ready? By 5, I have another alarm that will say this. So you can schedule yourself, schedule your time to make sure, because we also need money to pay their fee. We need money to take care of these children. So I would not advise parents to just sit at home because you want to take care of children because of the economy situation. So if you have help, follow up your help on a regular basis to make sure everything is being done. And when you come back, no matter how tired you are, try as much as well to check those things that you have put in place for them to do. Have they done it? If they have done it, did they do it well? So all this will go a very long way.
No.
You just have to give that time, because
Yes.
it is better you go through that stress now than cry at old age.
I want to believe, could that be the reason some homes, some husbands will say, okay, the husband will work, then the wife would have to be a trader or to be a businesswoman, so to speak, so that the wife can have enough time to take care of the children. What's your opinion about
If
that?
it works for them, whatever works for the family, I believe the couple can sit down and find out what works for them.
Yes.
For some people, they will say, okay, why don't I do the main job? You take care of the home. For some people, why don't you take a soft job? And thank God for technology.
Yes.
A lot of people are leveraging on technology, and while they are sitting at home, they are making a lot of money. So that for me, it's key, because the child is key. Looking at the future, we are looking at what you want to be, or what message you want to send in the future. And your children are your message to the future. So what kind of message you want to say, do you want to send to the people? And like she said, monitor them. There are ways. There are mobile phones, there are apps, there are even smaller cameras that you can install in your house to make sure that these children are, they are in line, and then create time. I have busy parents. I have a particular parent who is very busy, but she makes sure, she said, well, even if she comes home by 12, she will pick the children's bag and she will go through their assignments, make sure that everything, she preps them for the next day. She said she makes sure that she takes them, gives them their bags.
That's some sort of determination.
You have to be intentional. You have to be intentional, because like I tell most mothers and parents alike, it is something that you will do for only a while. This whole caring, major caring, it's 0 to 10. You are done. The child becomes basically independent. At 10, the child can take a bath by herself. Can do a lot of things. So you should not take that childhood away from the child. You shouldn't.
All right. Okay, let's quickly look at, because the other time you mentioned character. And we're beginning to see a lot of things happening in our society. These children grow up to become youths, and youths become adults. Adults become leaders in the society. In fact, we call them leaders of tomorrow.
Yes.
And in fact, people are beginning to change that they are leaders of today. Wow. But a situation whereby parents, they ask children not to do some things. Oh, it's wrong for you to yell at people. It's wrong for you not to greet, exchange pleasantries and all of that. But parents too, maybe unconsciously, they do that.
Yes.
What can be done?
Okay, I think for that, sometimes you tell a child, don't do this, and you are driving out, the next time you are abusing the next person. It happens so much in Lagos.
Yes.
So you have told a child, you don't abuse people, you don't insult people. This same parent go ahead and do the same. I think we should be very conscious. We should be conscious at all times, especially when the children are there. We shouldn't just say things because we want to say it, or do things that are not good enough. Also, the way our character goes a very long way for the children. The way we dress. You ask a child, don't wear a bun short. The next time you are wearing a bun short. So what message are you passing? You ask a child, don't do this, and the next thing you are doing it. So I think it's just for parents to be conscious of what they do. Let them discipline themselves to be conscious of what they do at all time in front of the children.
If somebody does not have a parenting skill, because the way things are going now, it looks like you must have some skill. For parents, you must have an idea of what it looks like, because a situation whereby you're giving birth, probably as a result of a unwanted pregnancy, some marital issues and all of that, and in case you're looking for how to survive, it becomes a problem.
Yes.
Do we say that if somebody does not have parenting skill, that person should not give birth to a baby, give birth to children? That people should go through some kind of parenting knowledge, parenting school? Is that possible? Is this something, do you see that happening?
Well,
Because we have a lot of programs now, people are coming up with platforms and all of that about parenting, because we've all understood that, okay, all of these problems in our society is from the home.
yes.
So what is your take on that?
Well, like, you cannot tell a person not to be a parent. Like accidents happen, like you said. I think the support. Once upon a time in Africa, a person gives birth to a child, there's a lot of support. There's a lot of support coming from family, from neighbors, and all that. So first and foremost, if we have our priorities set right in the society, that accidents wouldn't happen. But for parenting skills, there's an innate thing about parenting. It may not be fine-tuned. It cannot, like you've said, circumstances beyond control.
It can be generational, so don't you think so?
Well, it also can be generational, it can be spiritual, it can be, sociological and all that.
Okay, we will come back to that, but we need to go on this break. Tosin Mali was able to put something together about having positive mindset and how positive mindset or positive thinking can bring positive results. So we'll see that, and after that, we'll be back. Please go nowhere.
Did you know that positive thinking is beneficial to the overall well-being of a human body and helps to manage stress? Positive thinking just means that you approach bad events in a more positive and productive way. You think the best is going to happen, not the worst. That's the best way to live life. It is important to know that positive thinking often starts with self-talk. Self-talk is the endless stream of unspoken thoughts that run through your head or mind. Now, these thoughts can either be positive or negative. If the thoughts that run through your head are mostly negative, your outlook on life is more likely pessimistic. If your thoughts are mostly positive, you are likely an optimistic someone who practices positive thinking. There are several health benefits of positive thinking. They include increased lifespan, lower rates of depression, lower levels of distress and pain, greater resistance to illnesses, better psychological and physical well-being, better cardiovascular health and reduced risk of death from diseases and stroke, reduced risk of death from cancer, reduced risk of death from respiratory conditions, reduced risk of death from infections, better coping skills during hardship and times of stress. It is unclear why people who engage in positive thinking experience these health benefits, but one thing that is certain is that having a positive outlook enables you to cope better with stressful situations, which reduces the harmful health effects of stress on your body. You can learn to turn negative thinking into positive thinking. The process is simple, but it does take time and practice. You are creating a new habit after all. Here are some of the ways to practice positive thinking. Identify areas to change. If you want to become more optimistic and engage in more positive thinking, first identify areas of your life that you usually think negatively about, whether it's your work, your daily commute, your life changes or relationship. Check yourself periodically during the day. Stop and evaluate what you are thinking. If you find that your thoughts are mainly negative, try to find a way to put a positive spin on them. Be open to humor. Give yourself permission to smile or laugh, especially during difficult times. Seek humor in everyday happenings. When you can laugh at life, you feel less stressed. Surround yourself with positive people. Make sure those in your life are positive, supportive people you can depend on to give helpful advice and feedback. Practice positive self-talk. Start by following one simple rule. Don't say anything to yourself that you wouldn't say to anyone else. Be gentle and encouraging with yourself.
This is your viewpoint, and we're still talking about influence of role models on children. I'm still speaking with Major Saya and, of course, Josephine Kwasi. And the other time we talked about parenting, and you were talking about something that has to do with the way somebody has taken care of you, let's say generational.
Yes.
The other time I was talking about generational thing about parenting, something that comes from your grandfather then, and you said it's something that is innate.
Yes.
But I'm thinking it's something that you should be trained on. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I do. It's mothering a child.
Yes.
Being a mother
Okay.
is innate. It comes in it. If not, animals, I don't think they'll be able to nurture their young one. However, the support system, that's where the training comes from. I said once upon a time in Africa, we have family support, you have communal support, you have all that support. But these days, a lot of people are busy, especially in Lagos. So you need to be intentional. You need to want to be a mother. You need to go train to be a mother. You need to speak to responsible mothers that you can identify with to have that training done. That is also. But basically, aside from that, moving forward, I would like to see in Nigeria or in Africa where our young don't even get into that accidents.
You call it accident. Why?
Because unwanted pregnancy is an accident. It's unprepared
Or
for.
accidental pregnancy.
Yes, it's accidental. So because of that, the shock of it would not give the child a proper, a proper outlook.
Okay.
of what-
Now let's quickly. You want to add something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add to what she had said. Things are changing. Gone are the days when you have relatives helping you, have your mother helping you, you have neighbors helping. Everybody is busy. Everybody's trying as much as possible to see how they can make ends meet. These days, people go online. There are a lot of parenting tips you can get online. A lot. There are a lot of groups where mothers are gathered. They share a lot of tips on parenting. I advise parents, especially mothers, you can join those groups. Religious center as well also have groups where they educate parents to also know how to parent their children very well. I think things are changing, so we should change with time.
All right. There's something I would like us to also look at, and that is about what schools are doing as regards children, or let's say youth or pre-teenage children. Now, when it comes to the kind of songs they play in parties, I'm sure you must have held a number of
trending
parties.
ones.
Yes, yes, and you want to play songs that will make them happy and all
They
of
will
that.
say you're an old school.
Yeah, so that exactly. How don't you think that has some kind of negative influence on them?
It does. It does. For schools, sometimes it still comes from the home, because schools, we don't put on music for them to dance. Maybe if we have an event and you ask a child to come out, that before you know it, you see the child going haywire. You just be wondering, how come? How has this child gone to learn this? So parents should be very mindful of what the children watch, what they listen to when they are not around. But most times parents leave their phone for the children and they go searching for different things. There are lots of songs that are trending now. Before you know it, the children knows how to sing, they know how to dance it. Even we parents do not even know. So I think parents should put control. They are watching their station, let there be control for the children. Their phones, let there be control. Their tablets, let there be control. And as a school, we are also doing so much in school to see how we can mold these children.
No, what I'm saying is that in schools they play songs like that.
Not all schools.
Not all schools. In your school, do they play songs like that?
What we do,
Yes.
we are a faith-based school.
Oh, great.
So we allow our parents to know that from onset.
Okay.
that this is a faith-based school.
Okay.
So what you're going to be getting is mostly faith-based.
Faith-based. Okay.
You understand? And even aside from that, a lot of schools these days, when children are to watch programs, they do more of educational programs, and you know there's e-learning. So you find out that a lot of schools are using the e-learning system.
Okay.
So and with the curriculum we have now, a lot of schools are using blended curriculums. What time do you have to start playing certain music?
Okay, well, you will be talking about schools that you know, actually.
Okay.
Because there are some other schools we see on social media.
Yes.
We see children that are, the kind of steps they give and all of that, and people hail them,
Yes.
and they want to tag that as being talented. What is your take on that?
I think it's about the value and the belief of that school. Some schools do it. Some schools do it because that is the vision or the belief of the owner or
And possibly
whoever
they
that
have
set up
this
that
focus,
school.
they have this idea that they want to make them happy.
They want to make the children happy. At the same time, they want to sound like 21st century
21st century school.
So they want to please the parent and please the children by doing what they are not supposed to do. So we don't do that. Some schools do it.
Okay.
I can't stand here to say some schools do it.
And some schools, they are forced to do it because parents have a major say in schools. So you find parents saying, oh, we want children to participate in this. Children should not be cooked up. Things should not be, they should not have. Well, I think maybe for what I would call a broad-minded view. Now, but however, I think control. The thing is, the school and the home are to work together to build a better child or a total child. That is my take.
Who is a total child? Or what is a total child?
Oh, a total child or a well-rounded child is a child that knows what he or she wants out of life. Is a child that has been groomed by the home, by the school, to be able to know to take good and reject the evil, even when nobody's there.
All right, how do we prevent these children from what they see outside? We've talked about parents, we've talked about schools, teachers and all of that. But then, some parents give phones to their children.
Yes.
And even what they see on the road, what they see outside, even in church, what they see in church and all of that. Is there a way, let's take it from the media, what they see. Do we say have parents who control their children, control what they see on TV and even on social media, via phones?
I think there are parental control on TV, there are parental control
Do
on
you think
phones,
they are doing enough?
but the parents are not actually doing enough because sometimes they don't even have that time to put control there. And most children, technology is taking over. Most children even know how to operate the phone more than the parents that owns the phone. So children, they are smarter.
They are smarter.
They are
Don't
smarter.
you think parents in that regard should go and learn how to operate better?
Yes, because there are times parents have to call the child, come and help me do this.
Oh.
So that means the parent does not even know how to do it. So if a parent should put a parental control, they know how to unlock that. So I think it's still following up and checking up on them. We go a very long way.
And don't you think that parents should be updated with technology? They should update themselves because if eventually, like what you said, if you're asking your child to do that, in fact, that is how some children, maybe some teenagers get to steal their money.
Yes.
Yes, because you don't know and they know, so they can actually do a number of things before you know what is happening. They've escaped. So I think there's a need for parents as well to know what is happening, to be 24th century compliant. They should know about technology. And to what extent do you think that would impact those children?
For the parents, I think we have everything on our phone. It's just for parents to make out time to actually go through this phone. What should I do to get this? Google has it all. So for schools, like during the PTA meeting, schools usually organize talk for parents, teaching them about technology, new technology, things that are coming up, telling them things about parenting. I think school also have a part to play in that regard. So anytime the parents should also rely on the school to get more information, whether it's technology, whether it's by parenting. School are actually doing so much in that aspect.
All right, let's quickly look at a lot of things that are happening today, especially to children. Just recently, a child of I'll call a teenager about 15 years was trying to use his friend for ritual. 15 years, because he wanted to buy Mercedes-Benz. He wanted to buy a car. You can imagine that. And this boy was caught. Now, we tend to put children in boarding schools. And sometimes some of them learn some funny things in boarding schools. What is your take about that? Would you say it's about being in those schools? Does it depend on the school?
No.
Some of those behaviors they pick, because some of them have been, take for instance, girls' school, and before you know what is happening, they tend to learn maybe lesbianism and all of that. What is your take? And to what extent do you think that could affect them?
Okay. I don't want to say they learn all that from school. Yes, especially boarding school, you have mixed breeds. You have children from all walks of life and different background and all that in boarding schools. However, remember that these schools, they also have what they call house masters and house mistresses. And they are teachers, they are counselors and all that. So I would not say totally that, it still boils down to what these children have been watching, what they've been seeing, who they've been relating with. Somebody brought in that character or that behavior.
But some of them relate with their friends in school, and they learn from them.
Yes, it can stem from the society that they are coming from, the community they are coming from, the home they are coming from. Like I said, a lot of us, because we're busy, we're leaving children for housekeepers. Housekeepers, you don't know what they've been doing with the child. Then this child takes this character to school and starts introducing it to other children. We've seen cases like that.
All right, we're still talking about role of influence of role models on children, and of course we're looking at different issues concerning that. We're looking at it from different perspectives. We've talked about the media part, the social media part, roles of parent, and of course roles of teachers, educators, and all of that. Now, I believe you belong to an association. Yes, and is the association doing something to help that? In terms of, when it comes to, because the other time you mentioned what the school is about. Of course, you would agree with me that we have a lot of mushroom schools today. And despite the fact that we have government agencies that are supposed to track them down and, of course, see what can be done about it, the association is also an agent that can help in that regard. What's your take? Are they doing enough in that regard? Because the schools can help to a large extent. Before the show, we're talking about the number of hours children spend in school. Somebody who has gone for since 4 a.m. to 12 a.m. to 12 a.m. and before you know it, just 4 hours. Again, goes like that. So the only time some parents will have to spend with their children is just Saturdays and Sundays, and some just Sundays only. So if we have these children spending more time in school, is the association doing anything to see how they can track down schools that are not doing well to help the situation at hand?
The educational bodies, they are trying their best to see what they can do through the school to reach the family. But for the educational body, there's a limit they can get to. The kind of society that we are. There are schools that you can't even get to. There are things they have a limit. So because they have a limit,
can you tell us those limits?
Because you when they say do A, the other school is doing B. So who is checking? And the person that is coming to check, when the person comes to check, he will not do the right thing. So it comes from up to down.
So what's the essence of the association in the first instance?
So if the system is
Yes.
corrupt, it's going to affect both the association, affect the school, and also affect the home. So I think we should be more focused, be more disciplined in dealing with children, because these children we are looking at, they are going to be futures of tomorrow, like they said. So if we don't breed them well, we are waiting for a bomb blast in future.
How do you correct children in your school? Because in all of this, we also want to correct them.
Yes.
And what I see today, most schools don't want to beat their children anymore.
No.
And they want to say, they want to be careful, so to speak. So let me hear from you.
Well,
what is your take about that?
Corporal punishment is
Okay.
that's beating a child.
Yes.
Is prohibited,
Yeah.
Yes.
especially in Lagos State.
Yes.
And there are many ways to discipline a child.
Okay.
You don't have to go very violent to beat a child. And coupled with the fact that we are trying to teach children about domestic violence, violence is not the way. So for some children, thankfully enough, we are mostly an early learning school. So when you tell a child as little as go to the naughty corner, it's a big deal for them. When you tell a child that, okay, because you've done this, you are now going to, maybe if that child hurts another child, maybe by way of pushing or something, you now tell, okay, you've hurt that child, so therefore you care for this child until the child goes back to, so you help the child carry his bag, can help the child, with a lunch place and all that. And those are big deals for them. Now, for the older child, I believe that when you want, part of the disciplinary measures we use is telling them to do an apology publicly. Now, when these children are told to do apologies publicly, I don't know what it is with them, but they find it they see it as a very big deal, I tell you.
It can be so embarrassing.
Yes, so embarrassing. And as soon as they are done,
Okay.
it's also very important for them to know why that measure was given to them, what they should have done better. Then sometimes sitting them down to ask them questions like, why did you do what you did just now? And tell me why you did it, and what do you think should be done? It's a big deal. So there are different ways to attend to children, and they are whatever they've done, And just to add to what she's saying,
Yes.
there are a lot of associations actually, and most of these associations are working to ensure that these children are properly taken care of. I think what we need to do now is if the government can take it up and make sure that children become a priority in the constitution, become a major part of whatever blueprint we are having.
Okay.
Child care, child education, counselors, mental health, and all that should be a core thing for us now.
All right, thank you so much. We've been talking to Major Josiah and of course Josephine Kwasi. We've been talking a lot about influence of role models on children, and we've touched a number of parts. There's something they call arm wrestling. I don't know if you have an idea.
No.
And I want to believe schools are also selective when it comes to sports.
Yes.
Yes. Do you think it has any impact on them? May.
Is it the club that are?
Yeah, no, I mean sports now. The kind of sports they do.
They do, if it has impact on their attitude.
Yes, the attitude.
Yeah, we choose sports that like football.
Okay.
We do football.
Okay.
We do other board games that we
Okay.
do in house for them,
Okay.
and.
Okay, all right. I was asking because there's this video we're going to see.
Okay.
In sports, there's something they call arm wrestling. Where you have to use your arm like that. Yeah, not quite common,
Okay.
but it's something we have in Nigeria. So you get to see that, and right after that, some people on the street of Lagos talked about this issue as well. So we get to listen to what they had to say, and right after that, we'll be back to finalize our discussion this afternoon. Go nowhere.
Do you know that arm wrestling is a sport in Nigeria? Here are some fun facts you never knew about arm wrestling in Nigeria. The history of arm wrestling can be traced back to ancient Egypt, as numerous wall paintings in Egyptian caves depicted the origin of arm wrestling around 2000 BC years ago. The modern sport of arm wrestling is based on a Native American game. Samuel Jackson was appointed the president, Arm Wrestling Federation of Africa (AFA), even as Nigerian Arm Wrestling Federation (NFA) celebrated his elevation. Samuel Jackson was the vice president of AFA before his appointment as the interim president of the continental body. Jackson's appointment came after the executive board of AFA evoked Article 6, subsection 6 of the African Federation's constitution. Jackson replaced former AFA president Zain El Lahori from Egypt as the new interim president of the Arm Wrestling Federation of Africa. Samuel Jackson is entitled to the advantages and privileges linked to the post provided for by the constitution of AFA. Jackson also made history as the first Nigerian to become the vice president and later the president of Arm Wrestling Federation of Africa, thus joining the list of very few Nigerians and retired athletes to rise to such exalted position in the various continental sports federation. Samuel Jackson is a retired Nigerian hockey international. He played actively for the Union Bank Men's Hockey Club of Lagos and the Lagos State men's hockey team that won the gold medal at the Edo 2002 National Sports Festival, where he was the captain of the hockey team and also the captain of the Lagos State contingent to the festival. After retirement as a hockey player, he relocated to England, the United Kingdom, where he qualified as a civil engineer and later bagged a master's degree in engineering. In 2014, Samuel Jackson spearheaded the formation of the Nigerian Arm Wrestling Federation. In less than 3 years of its formation, the Nigerian Arm Wrestling Federation successfully hosted the African Championships in Lagos in 2017 with the support of the Lagos Sports Commission. This edition of the African Championship, which Nigeria emerged overall champion, was rated by the African Federation as the best ever in the history of the sport in the continent. From 2015 till date, Engineer Samuel Jackson ensured Nigeria participated in all editions of the Arm Wrestling World Championships. The Nigerian Arm Wrestling Federation is also a member of the Nigerian Olympic Committee.
The parents are the first role models. Your parent must be your first role model, so the children will look at you to see the way you live, the way you conduct yourself, your manner of life. If it is good, they will copy it. And then if your parents are good parents, they will also guide you into saying, oh, this is the kind of person that you need to turn up to be, and emulate this, emulate that, those things, that people that have character, people that have content, people that are hardworking, people that are serious-minded, those things. Your work as a parent starts from day one. From day one, you start from day one. Don't wait. That's not, because when you create space, that space must be filled. The child will try to copy from the next person, which things that may not be right because you created the space. So your work as a parent starts from day one. Start instructing your children from the beginning, and as they grow, Bible says, direct a child in the way he should go. When he grows, he will not depart from it.
Firstly, before you can even guide your children, even you yourself, you have to lay good example. You have to be a reflection of what you want your children to be. So that's just it. There's a way you build a relationship with your child. From what they are saying, you know that, oh, this child is getting exposed, and I think I need to come in here. Yeah, so basically, that's it.
Well, it depends on when you say children. I'm a child to my parents, but I'm an adult. You don't choose for your grown-up children whom their role models will be. Whatever, if you are a music lover, you pick a role model from the music scene. In sports, you pick one from the sports you love. So no parent should even choose for you. You choose for yourself. The so-called role model the role model is not going to be in the negative aspect, it's in the positive aspect. So let the children have the right to their choice. Don't pick for them, unlike when we were growing up. These days, let them pick for themselves.
I think I'll start with the parents. What are your set goals? What are the goals of the parent? Because the parent who doesn't have the right goals cannot choose a right role model. So what are your set goals as a parent? So when you have that, then you can choose the right role model, because there's so many role models here and there in the music, entertainment, in all fields of life. So you need to look at what are your values as a parent, then before you can relate same to your child. Once the child is able to get, recognize things, once the child begins to, from 2 years old, you begin to see your child does what you do, so anytime a child can emulate something from another person, that child should begin to look up to someone. Definitely charity begins at home, but you don't have everything, so you will be the first role model that your child sees, yourself, your wife, their senior cousins, their elder ones. Those are the first role models. So charity begins at home. So as a parent, you must be a good role model to you should strive to be a good role model to your child.
My name is Virginia. Every summer we drink.
On your viewpoint, well, we've been talking about influence of role models on children, and we've talked about a number of things. This time around, I want us to quickly look at the issue of staffing, which you mentioned during the break. Very quickly, is that a problem when it comes to, impacting children in schools?
Yes, like school, like every other industry.
Okay.
Especially a young industry, we always have challenges, and some of these challenges are staffing.
Okay.
Some staff may not understand what it takes to handle children properly, and then you find out that the flow of staffing in school, you find that in some schools, most times every term or every session, staffs are changed. Now, because we are the regular or the regular employee on the street does not understand what it takes for a movement to happen.
Okay.
Leaving a place, it costs the company or the school more to have, people come in and all that. So we find that there's this lackadaisical attitude sometimes with staffing. And that is what is causing most of the accidents we see. I don't think there's any school owner who want to have a school and want incidents and accidents to.
Well, the issue of trying to make money is also part of it.
Yes.
Because there's no way you want to start a business without making money, and of course, most of the time it becomes an issue. And at the same time, some people would want to look at it from another perspective, trying to help people.
Yes.
You see some people, you might just say that they don't have the experience, but when they get on the job, they perform beyond expectation.
Exactly.
But nevertheless, it's something that we must consider. But then let's quickly look at the other time we talked about the fact that all of these things will stem from the home. What about children's, let's call it children's friends, their peer group, their mates, in different places, whether church, school, worship centers, wherever they go? What impacts can it have on them? You see, sometimes children will be like, okay, mommy, look at what my friend is doing. Look at what she's wearing. Look at what she's doing and all of that. I want to do same. Is it wrong to do that? How do you convince a child like that if the other person is doing the wrong thing?
That's why they have to be positive parenting for the children. Children look at their mates, they look at their peers, what they do. You see somebody wearing red, they say, I want to wear red because my friend is wearing red, and because they love that friend. So for what we do as a parent is to actually make the child to know this person might be your friend, but it does not necessarily mean that you follow that person's attitude, because there are negative and there are positive attitudes. So if the child has a negative attitude and is your friend, and they are in school, you can tell your child not to meet with this child, but when they get to school, they will also meet. So what you do from home is to push from home, keep teaching them your values, keep teaching them your belief, and I think it will go a very long way.
What about lifestyle in terms of health? Most of the time you want to stop them from taking some kind of food, sweets and all of that. But at the same time, you want to encourage them to go to school. How do you do that?
Like we've always, like she said,
yes,
the home. What you tell your child, how you tell your child. Once you allow your child know that you are coming from a place, you are coming from a home, these are our values. These are our ethics.
But you can't tell that to a 2-year-old or 3-year-old or 4-year-old. Yes.
No, there are ways.
Okay.
I believe that children can get communicated to even from the womb. You have children. We've had stories of, while they were pregnant, a particular song that the mother likes or the father likes, and the child starts kicking. And the child starts. So communication, as long as it's life. Communication. So for the child, okay, how do you tell the child don't go to the electric sockets? When a child is crawling, and those things, they attract them. As they go, as a parent, you're saying no, don't do that. No, the child begins to see your body language. He begins to hear. She begins to hear what you're saying, feel your body language, and before you know it, one day the child will crawl towards the place and suddenly do a U-turn.
Wow.
Because the child remembers. So the same way, when you keep placing these values in front of them, keep telling these children. I remember when we were growing up, our parents would tell us, remember the son of whom you are.
We will stop there and we'll get to talk about this again. So in just one word, what is your pattern shot?
I will encourage parents to make out time. It is very necessary. It's non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable. Make out time for your children, whatever the situation is. Whatever job you're getting into, you're doing, make out time for your children. It's very important. Thank you so much. I've been speaking with the director, Champion Hills International School, Lagos. That's May Josiah. She's the director, and of course, Chief Admin, Aegis Home School, Lagos. Josephine Obey Kwasi.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much
for having us.
All right. Hopefully, we'll get to have you some other time.
Thank you.
All right. That's it on the show this beautiful afternoon. Be sure to join us next time at same station. We're back again with another wonderful discussion. Be good. Bye for now.